morning, good afternoon, good evening. So it depends on your location. So today, we have some great news filtering in from Niger, as you know. So, but it has to do with Nnamdi Kanu. So, because as you know, this man has been incarcerated, going to, I think, over 2 years now, and the court has ruled on this case close to a year. And what the court ordered was that Nnamdi Kanu have no case to answer. That he should be released. But yet, the government of the day, as at that time, the government of um, Buhari and the wicked Attorney General and the DSS boss, was that his name again? Bichi. So with their arrogance and overzealousness, they decided to keep the gentleman in their custody in the DSS. So a lot of people has already made their voice known and shouted and voiced out their angers to the authority to do the right thing. Because how can the government who claim to be a government of the people, by the people, be disobeying court orders after court orders? The president, who was elected by the people, appointed these his errand boys or these his bullies. He gave them positions, and they have turned that position to their family possessions. So, and they decide to override every laws and rules of the land and judgments of the course of the land. And everybody somehow seems to be looking the other way, like it doesn't really matter because they are not the ones involved, or because their families are not the ones involved. So because people these days, especially Nigerians, when it comes to issues affecting the well-being of the people or the community or the country at large, people don't really care. It's only when it affects them that is when they shout out. Take, for example, the man who was headed the EFCC, Bauer, just a few months ago. Now, this same man, when he was in power, or he was in that office, he was neglecting so many court cases and so many court judgments that goes against them, that was in favor of their victims. So they disregard them and keep these same people in their custody without any regard to the law or the laws of the land. So this is actually what they've been doing all this while, and we are really sick and tired of all this bullshit. So now, the same thing is what has been happening in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. So, but as for the man Bauer, the former EFCC chairman, the same man who used to disregard the law and the judges or the rulings of the judges and the courts, has found himself in court, and the same man is being represented by the same or by lawyers who are trying to seek or trying to get his own freedom. The same thing happened to the former CBN governor. So what I'm just saying here is that most of all these top so-called government officials, people who are appointed, actually they are not even elected by their own people. They're only appointed either by a governor or by the by the president, who is who is said to be elected. So, but once they have this power, then they try to or they start to behave authoritatively, with disregard to the rules of the land. They start to behave like they are above everything else. Like blood don't normally flows in their veins anymore. Like they become so robotic to the extent that nothing at all really matters. So all these things have a limit. So Nnamdi Kanu has been kept in the dungeon of the DSS all this while, even with his own, head being deteriorated throughout all these tortures, both psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, physically. So, and this man has been denied access to his doctors or to his preferred doctors. So you cannot imagine a man who has been kept in such deplorable conditions to accept anything that they throw at him, or for anybody or anyone that wore a white garment to come there and start to examine him in the name of being a doctor or giving him medicines that you have no idea what they are. So definitely, if you were to be in his shoes, what would you do? You rather refuse or reject those kind of concussions that you don't trust until you have that particular, doctors or group of doctors or medical examiners that you at least can trust. So maybe your family can afford a doctor and bring a doctor to you, then you know that that doctor is working for the family. Definitely, the doctor will do a better job than the one that is being brought to you, you know, by some quack government agency workers, like the DSS boss, for example. So that was the case. So, but now we just find out that his medical examinations by doctors of his choice, as ordered by the Nigerian court, you know, has already started, giving him that care that he actually need. So here the news read, he said, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on Thursday began his medical examination in line with the court order. So Justice Binta Yanko of the Federal High Court Abuja had ordered the DSS, Department of State Services, to grant Nnamdi Kanu access to his medical records. So the court on Thursday in its judgment again held that objections by the security agencies raised against Nnamdi Kanu's request lacked merit. It added that Kanu is constitutionally entitled to have access to both the records he requested for and the medical doctors of his choice. So, Justice Yanko held that the independent medical examination of Kanu by his personal physicians should be supervised by the DSS, with the entire process recorded and sealed for security purposes. So, he said, if I, Ejiofor, Esquire, IPOB lead counsel, in a statement signed on Thursday, said Kanu was profoundly excited by the news from the court and subsequently directed that his appreciation be conveyed to his indefatigable legal team, ably led by Mike Uzekome San. Wow. He affirmed that Kanu's medical examination had commenced in earnest by the recommended team of medical experts with the cardiologist, surgeon, and otolaryngologist from the best hospitals in Abuja, all duly recommended by Kanu's wife. The statement read in part, "We visited our indefatigable and formidable client, Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today, being the 20th day of July 2023, at the SSS headquarters, Abuja, where he is still being illegally and unconstitutionally held in his solitary confinement." Just imagine that. For what now? When terrorists are roaming around in that same Abuja with babarigas and sirens, then the man who has committed no crime is being held in solitary confinement for this long. That is actually not good at all. And it doesn't speak well for the so-called Igbo politicians who are messing around in the corridors of so-called corridors of power in Abuja there, without really, trying to do more than the basics that they're supposed to do to get Nnamdi Kanu released from the dungeon of the DSS at the Nigerian state. So he said Oyendu was specifically briefed on the judgment of the High Court, or the Federal High Court, where Justice Binta Yanko this morning delivered another landmark judgment on our applications for order of judicial review. So he said Oyendu was acquitted of the far-reaching order made by his lordship today in the landmark judgment, wherein his lordship directed the SSS to allow Oyendu access to medical doctors of his choice, who are to medically examine Nnamdi Kanu outside the SSS facility without the influence of the SSS. So the court further directed that all such examinations must be recorded. Furthermore, his lordship directed the SSS to avail Nnamdi Kanu with all its medical records. So Nnamdi Kanu was profoundly excited by this news. So we can go on and on and on because they're just repeat. So but what is the taking from there is that sometimes Nigerians act like nothing is happening until that thing actually happened to them. Everything that Nnamdi Kanu has talked about in the past has not come to be. So everything that he spoke about as far as the Nigerian system is concerned, or the injustices in the land is concerned, either to the Southeasterners or to a section of Nigeria. So it's not like there's anything new, because all these things we know. That's why some people take him very seriously, and some even call him a prophet. So because common sense sometimes it's not common in some areas. So as we now know, those who have sense actually and doesn't know how to use it or how to utilize it. So that's the problem. So a lot of people, as one said, as one said, that the Nigerian state, that the Nigerian state case against Nnamdi Kanu have no basic, have no ground. So, but I think they are very right because they must have seen something or they must have known then what we didn't know then. So, but now the whole thing is becoming clearer and clearer by the day. So, but the only joy that I have today is that at least we now know that at least he's allowed to take care of himself, then at least overhaul himself, then both mentally and physically, then the actual thing that we all want is his unconditional freedom. Freedom. You want to breathe out, be able to breathe that fresh air. See those green leaves, those trees, and that freshness. Move that free movement to go to anywhere he wants without taking permission from anyone. That is actually what freedom is about. Associate with whoever he wants to associate with. So because my fear is that some of these Southeasterners who are politicians, right from the old guards that just left, all these governors that just left now, for example, they've all tried to make a deal or try to strike a deal in the name of Nnamdi Kanu or make some negotiation with the past government. So, but now, shame on them, as we all know, because all they were negotiating was for them to have their own way, have their own, make their own bargain for their own benefit. As it's not for the benefit not to the benefit of the Igbo youth or the Southeasterners, but rather for their own pocket and their own selfish, pocket. So I know some must have cashed in on that and gotten what they wanted without nobody actually knowing. So recently, Ifeanyi, a senator from Anambra, was also in the news for the wrong reasons. Trying to accuse IPOB and members and what have you. So any politician wants to get popular in the Southeast, what they were doing is just to start attacking the IPOBs and stuff. So, but now we now know who the people are that are supporting their own people or the well-being of their own people. Why we now know those who are fighting their own people just because they want some power to be granted unto them. So somebody like Umahi, who was thinking that if you start attacking the IPOBs and all the rest, at the end of the day, maybe the APC will give him the presidential ticket to run. Where is he now? So I think he should be ashamed of himself. Maybe he's already hiding somewhere in Abuja, or he's jumping around, junketing, to see if he can still get some more power so that he can still get, more security for himself. So that's what it's about. That's what they care about. So Uzodinma is doing his own there, the same thing, for his own pocket, killing his own people in the name of power and politics, because he wants to prove to the APC that he can handle the people and try to feel more relevant than he actually is in the Southeast political terrain. So this is what they be doing all this while. In fact, a lot of us have been really actually surprised. Those who have been watching what was happening to these Southeasterners, and politicians, because a lot of people thought that these people or this bunch of politicians who are quite highly educated should know better than that. Because an Hausa man will not sell his own people because of politics for you in the public. Never. How many of them have you heard that will come out and start to accuse Boko Haram of anything, criticize it. Rather, this same man now, who they call Shitty Man, and Shitty Man as the vice president now, was the same man that kept that terrorist in his own house in Abuja until the SSS or DSSS busted him and arrested the man. So you can imagine. So who will now tell me that this shitty man have nothing to do with terrorism? The man have everything to do with terrorism. Then the other guy who founded Boko Haram also was linked to him also, when he was alive. So the same thing. So but now you can see the kind of people that we now have in government and see the kind of country we are redesigning, to have. So my take is that on the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, the only thing he asked for is the freedom of his own people. If we cannot be or live together, let's live apart. So let my people go. That is what he asked for. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. So the South-South or the Southeast or the Southwest or the Northeast, Northwest, North Central, they all have that freedom to aspire to either be in that country called Nigeria or be in their own country. It's as simple as that. So I don't know why some people are just bunting their heads or for nothing, killing people all over the place and causing mayhem. All you need for an economy to grow, first of all, the number one prime thing that you need is peace. Without peace, there won't be development. There won't be anything else. So, you need peace. Everyone else needs peace. So the least you can do is to call everybody back to the table again to try to renegotiate that country and see the terms that has to be negotiated. And that constitution has to be redrawn because the constitution that we now have was drawn by the military juntas, by a few greedy juntas. So that constitution is not even fit for a state that practice all kinds of totalitarianism, talk less of a state that actually want to move forward and prosper. So for Nigeria to prosper, and for Nigeria to move forward, that constitution has to be redesigned and we'll let all the people agree on the way and manner they choose to be led. That's just all we're asking. So if Biafra have to go, why not? If that is what they want. If the Oduduwas wants to go, why not? If that's what they want. If North Central have to go, Northeast have to go, Northwest have to go, so be it. But if they now choose to form a confederacy, for example, where all the regions, all the six geopolitical regions now have their power evenly distributed, then while they control the economic, social and political space, then so be it. The US was like that before. So US did not just become a federal constituency all of a sudden, the way it is today. No, the US used to be a confederacy. It was a confederal state, where states like California were having their own currencies. Texas, the same thing, and so many other areas like that. So it's not a bad thing. So it's just like Europe of today, the EU of today, for example. Every country have their own currency, but they now have a single currency within the euro. But that same euro do have the denomination that you will still see or look at to know the euro that is coming from Netherlands, the euro that is coming from Germany, and the euro that is coming from Portugal or from Spain, etc. They all have their own thing there that you see. So it's not like when they just say euro, they just print euro blankly, like printing maybe a pound to come and start operating here. No, the euro still have Netherlands still have their own signatures on that euro. You know, I don't know if you understand me. If you look at the euro that you get from Netherlands and the euro that you get from Italy, they are different. It's a slight different, but they all look alike, but they are all euros. The same thing applies to every other countries from the EU. So if that is how Nigeria choose to live, why not? So maybe the naira, if they choose that money to be called naira, or the money have to be called fadi, or bedi, or lidi, or any kind of didi, you know, or whatever you want to call it, dolakbo, or ngwangu, or igu, or kudi. So you have to call it, anything they choose to call it. They call it, but the one that is coming from the southeast, we have the one from the southeast because of inflation. So it has to be controlled. Over circulation of funds can be another problem altogether. So the one that is coming from the southwest, we still have that signature of the southwest, etc. But they will all, be in that same fuss. They will all look alike. So we can copy from others who have already experimented that. So the same thing with ECOWAS, for example. So that's why a lot of people said Nigeria is dragging the rest of West Africa backward. Because if Nigeria cannot take care of its own internal little crisis like this, then how can you even have ECOWAS or the ECO Monetary Union that they talked about? So how can we dismantle these, the safers, for example, the French safers that they be using to exploit West Africa, especially. So that thing has to be dismantled also because that thing is affecting our economy, both directly and indirectly. So if supposing the echo can come into play, then or come into force, definitely we have learned, maybe over time, then we know how to improve on it, then move forward. Then at least there is the stress of doing businesses within the Western African axis will have been a little bit reduced or be cut in half, which means it will be easy for you to go to Cameroon or go to Benin Republic or go to Togo or go to Cote d'Ivoire or Burkina Faso, Senegal, etc. and transact. Imagine there's a rail network connecting from Cote d'Ivoire, from let's say from Guinea, then back to Sierra Leone, Liberia, then Senegal, then Cote d'Ivoire and the rest, then down again to Ghana and Togo, Benin Republic, then Nigeria, then Cameroon on the other side, for example. Although Cameroon is not ECOWAS, they call themselves Central Africa Republic. But if, for example, those areas were to be interconnected just by ordinary rail line, is it so difficult to rail the rail line connecting these regions? No, it's just a matter of sheer will. Because after all, when you spend all this money, it's the same people from this same region that are going to lay these pipes, so you are going to create job for your own people. Then, if you deploy train networks in those regions also, it's the same people that are from those regions that are still going to work in those trains. So you're not losing anything. So invest in your own people, and the money stays there. So why the people are moving around doing their own businesses, taking their goods from the farm and whatever, taking it to wherever place they feel that they can sell and make more money. Then while coming back again, then they take another goods from that area again and bring it back to the other side where it's needed. That's it. So it's not supposed to be a very difficult thing to do after all. So but in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, I'm very happy that at last, we are getting somewhere. So that's the issue. So soon, Nnamdi Kanu will be free. So that's what it all means. So we're happy for him, and we hope to see him. Hope to see him soon. So, but I know that a lot of people that I know, that we know, who has been making all kinds of noise in the on the social media all this while. When Nnamdi Kanu was outside, they were very boisterous and very loud, and they were supporting him at that time. As soon as Nnamdi Kanu was caught or captured or kidnapped by the Buhari regime, then these same people who were supposed to be conversing for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, they were nowhere to be found. Some of them has collected money and they shut up, while some of them might still be fighting, but with their voices not being heard. So I don't know why it's so, but I do know that in this life, nothing is permanent, because like what they are doing right now, a lot of people are I read so many meanings to all of these things, and me too. I have to read my own meanings to it. Is that whatever it is, Nnamdi Kanu will surely be released, and we just hope that it's released hale and healthy. That is it. So he will surely be released, whether the devil likes it or not. So but what we don't want is those people who are not supposed to be taking credit for all of these things to not come out and start taking credit, for what they did not do. Because even me, at a point, I start to get tired of those lawyers, because to me it's like they were not actually doing their job. Because how come Buhari and the Attorney General cannot be so strong to the extent that even the ECOWAS court and the rest, they all rule that this man should be granted his freedom, but yet they still held him back. They held him back up till now as we speak. So the only thing actually that we want is nothing less than that unconditional freedom that he deserves, because the court has said so, the laws of the land have said so, and you and I know that you have no case to answer as well. So what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Because as I read through the net just a few days ago, I had some of this Ariwa group asking the DSS to release the former EFCC chairman, for example. At least those ones they are asking, or they ask. It's not like they are just asking, they will voice it out, you will hear it loud and clear. It's not like they're just trying to ask just because they just want to ask. So, but how many Igbo groups, how many Southeastern groups do you hear saying this thing consistently? They come once in a while, they just say one thing or two things, then the next thing they shut up. You see some governors, so they are going to see Tinubu now, so they went to Abuja for what? They be going to Abuja. The former Minister of Aviation, the man is late now, was that last year, Amishi. That was how he went to Abuja. Asked Buhari then, and pleaded with Buhari to release Nnamdi Kanu to him, that he will guarantee, you know, he will be the shorty, to Nnamdi Kanu and stuff. The man was on wheelchair when he went there. You still remember what Buhari told him? He said that that the court, that they should allow the court and the law to take its course. That if the law should say that he should be free or he should be set free, that he'll be set free. That's what he promised that old man. So the old man was still alive when the court set him free, but yet the Buhari and his people held him back until the man died. So you just imagine that. Can you imagine any other group from another region doing that, and yet you still hold their own son who committed no crime without any tangible reason given? So to me, I still think that the southeastern politicians have a very big role or great role to play as far as this issue is concerned. So they should not be speaking with their bare lips. They should speak with their whole heart and mind. Make a demand and make sure that that demand is met, because Southeasterners are not just what do you call it? Are not just let's say Nigeria or stakeholders in the Nigerian project. They are fully a part of that thing that make of that country, that entity called Nigeria. So because when you cut the Southeast out of Nigeria, then it's no more Nigeria. It becomes something else. So it's either you accept the Southeast as part of this entity and accord them that same respect and liberty, or you let Biafra go. Whether Southeast and South together or whatever it is. Anyone who agree to be a part of the Biafra, you let them go. Let everyone have their own peace. So because the only thing that you want from the Southeast actually is not that you love the Southeasterners more than the Southeasterners, or you love the Southerners more than the Southerners. The only thing you love about them is their resources. And it's clear. And we all know that. So let my people go. That is the word. So King Pharaoh, let my people go. Enough of this bullshit. So now the Kanu have to be free, and he must be free now. That's the key of these whole discussions. So ladies and gentlemen, we thank God for this day, and let's hope that this is just another step to that freedom that we all hope that Nnamdi Kanu will get, because we all need our freedom as well. So, but we are not actually free until we are really free. So Nnamdi Kanu is a part of this whole project. So if he's not free, we are not free. So, except those who are benefiting from the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu. But for every good thinking Nigeria, whether Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, who has been following this whole episode, they know what Nnamdi Kanu actually stands for. Forget about the politics that are being played. Forget about all these unknown gunmen who are being sponsored by the same Buhari, who was sponsored by the Buhari government. So we now know that Asari Dokubo was that chief of no gunmen in the southeast and south-south. He came out with his own mouth to say it, that he was contracted by Buhari to bring peace. According to him, in his word, he said, bring peace, you know, to the north, Niger State, Abuja, Aziz to Kaduna, and the southeast. That is not just say plainly, but we now know. Because a lot of people have been saying that these things that are happening in the southeast, that they are accusing the IPOBs or the ESN of, that they are being done by those who are against the philosophy and idea of the freedom of the Biafra people. So, at first people thought it was some foreign invaders that were doing these things. So, by the ESN took care of that. Then all of a sudden, then they thought it was some criminals or criminal groups from within. So we now know that it's Asari Dekumbo himself that recruited guys to be doing committing all this criminality all over the place. So that is why exactly he was against Nnamdi Kanu or against Nnamdi Kanu's release. That is the problem that he has had all this while. He was so worried about Nnamdi Kanu. That's why he was telling Buhari and in so many uncountable times that he should be allowed to go and strangle Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody and whatever. When this man said something like that, I was like, is this man okay? You know? So now we know why. We now know what is motivating him to speak like that. You saw the other day when he was displaying some bazooka or AK-47 or AP whatever. You know? Up to now he has not been arrested. So now I show you something. He just went the other day to go and greet the Mr. President in Aso Rock. So, and he was talking so boldly there, and even saying things against the Igbo race as a whole. Why at the villa? Will somebody else say something like that against any other race in this country, and that person will not be picked up the next day? So, that has shown you something, that something, you know, was actually being cooked, but they've been exposed because they now know, or we now know, who the enemies are and where these whole things are coming from. So, but not for long. Nnamdi Kanu will soon be free, and will be free for sure. So, free at last, we shall say, free at last. In the name of God Almighty, we are free at last. That will be the song that we do, that we dance to. So that will be the program, the topic of the next program that we throw here also then for all to jubilate to. So we thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching our videos. Please circulate this video, share this video, give us a thumbs up, and give us some nice comments on how to move forward. And please let us also know what you think about this whole Nnamdi Kanu saga and things that the federal government has done so far, as far as working against the law and the laws of the land. So that is it for now. I will say take care, God bless you, see you soon. Bye.